Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Zone Blitz. As always, I'm Vince Miller, joined by my co-host Ashton Overhaul, and we're here to preview Week 13, the final week of the regular season, Rivalry Week. Always a great weekend. Ashton, are you ready?
No, I'm not ready for this to be week 13. I know we talk about how long the season seems to it seems to have just drug on forever, but it in some ways it also just flew right by too. And like this is it, like this is our last full slate of games, and then
Yeah. It
but
sucks that
yeah,
it's over about, yeah.
it does. I mean, hey, but this is probably the best week of the year though. Like as far as
Such a good
matchups,
week.
right? I mean, even though it's maybe I would say that in other years, like the last week has actually maybe been better than what we have here, but this is still like it's a really loaded week. Like Michigan Ohio State is like I think that one's just going to be a phenomenal game. Like there's some stuff to look forward to, and it's a good way to go out on. Hopefully we'll have some fights. We need some brawls.
Yeah, I'd be down with some of that. But yeah, like let's go through this. I think I have at least 20 games I written down. We might not have thoughts on all of them. And I
I
had
don't.
to I had to cut a few that would be mildly interesting. So we'll just go through them, and if we
Okay.
have something to say, then we'll say something. If not, we'll move on.
All right.
It starts with Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah. Egg Bowl.
Thanksgiving evening, the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss is
Mm-hmm.
at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is actually a 1 point favorite here.
Mm-hmm.
They're the home team. So, do you feel like that makes sense to you, or I mean, Ole Miss
It
is a top
stinks.
10 team.
That line stinks.
I know, right?
I don't know what to make of that. It feels like Michigan State's the play. Sorry, Mississippi State is the play here. Like maybe some, yeah. Like we saw, not a very impressive showing against Vanderbilt last week for Ole Miss, right? And then, yeah, that should not be the line. That does not make sense. And yeah, maybe there's something there that we don't know.
Do you
Maybe.
think maybe there's a little behind the scenes Lane
Kiffin?
Kiffin?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's part of it. I bet you that is part of it because he is flirting in every possible way with any program that will, yes, even give him a second look. So yes, in that way, that kind of makes sense there. I like Mississippi State's probably like this is obviously going to be a top 5 game to watch. If you're not watching
Yeah.
this game, like what are you doing? This is going to be better than the NFL game, which will be on that night because no one actually. It doesn't even matter who wins the NFL game that night because yeah, it has no bearing. But this game, the Egg Bowl, is going to matter. Like this has given us moments over the years. I saw a clip today just kind of in honor of the Egg Bowl. There was a little it was a ref actually. There was 0-0-0 left on the clock in the fourth quarter, and he threw a flag and said unsportsmanlike penalty on everybody on both teams. This is the end of the game. That's what he said, and it was like yes, like that's why you need to tune in. Something crazy will happen. It's Kiffin versus Leach. For the press conferences alone, it's a something you just need to keep your eye on.
Yeah, we knew as soon as these schools made these hires
Yes,
that
we did.
the Egg
That's right.
Bowl would be even more entertaining than normal. And it helps that these teams are actually pretty good. Like they're
They are.
both pretty good teams.
They really are.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, I'm with you. The line feels weird
Sketchy.
to me. I
Oh.
was expecting Ole Miss -4 or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
But
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah, staying away from it for me. My lean would be Ole Miss, I think, just because my head says they should be favored and they're not. But that makes it scary almost.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, Friday there's several games. By the way, if I skip a game you want to talk about, go ahead and mention it.
Okay.
Um,
That's fine.
Friday, I have 3 games listed. Iowa is at Nebraska. Not a whole lot to take here, but Iowa still has an outside shot at their division.
Hmm.
So something to keep an eye on at least. And Nebraska, they've been on the verge of beating somebody good all year. Maybe it actually happens here. I don't know.
Nebraska's 3-8, and Iowa is 9-2, and Iowa is a 1.5 point favorite.
Right, which
You know
feels
what I
about
mean?
right.
Like that's that, and that feels like they probably nailed that line because,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's going to be a close game, or yeah, we expect it to be a close game. So, yeah, I probably won't watch. Like I probably won't
Yeah.
watch because, like we said, Iowa just bores the heck out of me, and I think
Sure.
Nebraska is just not really that good. So
I think it probably depends what I'm doing that day or whatever. But
it has to be like
yeah.
almost nothing. Like I have to have
Yeah.
like literally nothing else to do, which I already know that like it's not going to be the case. So
Right.
probably not going to be watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cincinnati is at East Carolina. East Carolina is a sneaky decent team, and I think this is a theme that's going to come up a lot. I already mentioned it with Kiffin. Both of these coaches could be potential options for bigger jobs, which is just an interesting wrench. I feel like most years we don't have as many open jobs by this point. Like teams usually in the past have waited till after the regular season to fire their coaches. We already have Florida, LSU, USC, Washington. I think TCU just announced that they're
Dykes
coming to agreement with Sonny Dykes. But man, there's already a lot of jobs open. And because of that, there will be more jobs opening, as in like teams like Florida, USC, LSU. They're going to take sitting head coaches from other schools. Virginia Tech is another job open, big name. So something to keep an eye on. Also, Cincinnati really needs to be impressive just because of the playoff positioning. And East Carolina is actually a sneaky decent team. So like they could pick up a decent win here, I think.
I think for me, as long as they win, like I don't care if they win by 1 or 100. Like a win is a win. And like I think if Cincinnati goes undefeated, like we see with the Oregon loss, and like there's gonna be some teams above them that are gonna be dropping, right? Like Cincinnati, if they win out, for me, I think they're a lock. Like I think there's no, even if Alabama somehow beats Georgia and gets in as well, I still think Cincinnati gets in as the 4 seed. So like I really think that Cincy is in. And yeah, just win. Like you just can't handle a loss. It's the only thing you can't have.
So I think you're right as far as them compared to Notre Dame. Like you can't jump Notre Dame over Cincinnati if they're undefeated.
Right.
Where I'm a little worried for Cincinnati's sake is if Oklahoma wins out or Oklahoma State, whatever. Like, is there a chance? Is there a chance that they jump that one loss Big 12 champ all the way over both Notre Dame and Cincinnati? I don't know. I don't think so. But it is a G5 team, and we know what the committee does with G5 teams. So like there's a slight chance. And I think if Cincinnati can just go ahead and squash East Carolina and have a convincing win against Houston next week, then at that point it's a little more clear.
I guess we will see. I still feel really good about Cincinnati. I'd say 80 to 90% chance they get in. Just like ballparking right now. Yeah.
Let's just compare that real quick.
What is it? Oh, you're looking at 538?
538, if they win out, gives them an 82% chance.
Okay, so right there, yeah.
ESPN, if they win out, gives them an 86% chance. So yeah, your 80 to 90 is pretty accurate, it looks like.
Gotcha. Just got to win. All you got to do.
Okay, another game Friday night. North Carolina is at NC State. Bit of a rivalry there. NC State's a 5.5, 6-point favorite. No huge stakes on this one, although did we say NC State still has a slight chance? I can't remember.
They have a slight chance, yes. The outside possibility. I think they would need a little bit of help there. I believe they need Wake, obviously, to lose because, they lost the tiebreaker to Wake, right?
But if Wake loses and they win, then I think they win their division.
That's correct. Yeah. Yep. No, that's my understanding as well, is that then NC State gets in. Yeah.
So this is that's not crazy. Like Wake Forest plays Boston College, who's pretty decent. So
right. No,
there's a chance of that happening.
They do.
Okay, let's get into Saturday. There are like 97 12 o'clock games you should watch. Not quite, but we'll just go through them. Texas Tech is at Baylor. And I mentioned in our last pod that I think Oklahoma State is a guarantee, regardless of what in the conference championship game is a guarantee. That's not actually true. I was wrong on that. Baylor still has a shot.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to go through all of the scenarios there, but Baylor does have a shot. Obviously, they would need a win here. They play Texas Tech, who, last week they got blanked by Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And their defense actually played well. Like Oklahoma State didn't score very much, but opportunity for Baylor. They just have to win. Moving on, Florida State is at Florida. Two historic programs, bowl eligibility on the line. Both teams are 5-6. Obviously, Florida just fired Dan Mullen.
Hate to see it.
Florida State is trending up, I would say, with Mike Norvell.
Yes, they are.
Florida is a 2.5-point favorite. Does that make any sense to you?
No. I mean, no. The correct answer there is no, not really. I think maybe Dan Mullen leaving is like addition by subtraction, possibly. Like you get rid of the distraction, kind of in the
Right,
locker room, and
true.
maybe like because Florida is a more talented football team still than Florida State, only just like not by just factors of 10, but they are better. Like they do have more talented players, more NFL prospects right now. Now that's going to change because Florida State has brought in a lot of guys, and Florida has their recruiting is woeful. In the time we've been talking about them, they've since lost another recruit. I'm kidding. They haven't. But possibly could have happened. Who knows?
Very possible.
I think hey, this matters though. Like this is the most this game has mattered in a while because someone needs to get bowl eligible, and it's good. Yeah, one of these teams will get bowl eligible, and who is it? Like who is the worst team in Florida? Like of the big three, like feels like this could possibly be one of the worst teams. Like either of these teams could be. Well, Miami, I guess, would give them a run, wouldn't they? Yeah, okay. Just everyone's mediocre. How about that? The whole state of Florida is mediocre. This team has bragging rights against the other teams of being slightly less mediocre, slightly better. Again, I have no feel on the line as well. I have no idea what that means.
I think I'm starting to rethink it just a little bit. If Dan Mullen was still there, this would almost certainly be one of my locks, I think, on Florida State.
Florida State. Yeah, right, yeah.
And I wonder if maybe, because it does seem like he definitely lost the team in the last month.
That's right.
And maybe if he's gone, the team bonds in that absence and just out-talents Florida State. I don't know. We'll see. It's on my short list for locks of the week, but we'll I have yet to make final decisions on those. So at the end of the pod, we'll finalize those.
Me as well.
Okay. I just want to mention Georgia is at Georgia Tech and a 35-point favorite. The only reason I mention it is because like we've been talking about this whole Big 12 champ versus Notre Dame thing. Notre Dame just beat Georgia Tech by 55. If Georgia only beats them by 30, is that a slight point in Notre Dame's favor over Oklahoma State? I don't know. But if we're talking about razor-thin margins here, maybe it's a slight point in Notre Dame's favor. I don't know. But
so you're rooting for Georgia Tech. Pretty much is what you're saying is that you're rooting for Georgia Tech.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Understood.
Keep it close.
Yeah, gotcha. The line is only 35. I will say the line's only 35, so which is low for Georgia. Like Georgia's
it feels
lines
like it, yeah.
Have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger every week, and they just keep covering. So in fact, I don't think there was a line. I don't even think they put out a line against Charleston Southern last week, which Georgia actually didn't thump them by maybe as bad as they should have. So yeah, hey, well, let's see. Maybe Georgia Tech keeps it close. They won't, by the way. They will not.
No, they will not.
But maybe they could. Who knows?
Okay, Ohio State at Michigan. This is the big one. This is the game of the day. Ohio State, Michigan, both, depending where you're looking in the rankings, top. I mean, in the AP poll, they're both top 6 teams, number 2 and number 6. Playoff rankings, they'll probably both be top 5.
Probably, yeah.
Ohio State is a 7.5 to 8.5 point favorite. You can get 7.5, 8, 8.5, depending where you look. You've been on this for a while. You think Michigan can beat Ohio State.
I do.
You still feel that way even after last week when Ohio State throttled Michigan State?
I feel, yes, I do. The correct answer is yes. I still do think so. How long can Ohio State just be perfect on offense? You know what I mean? Like it feels like maybe they got their perfect game out of the way. Like they're good for like one of those a year, and like they spent that one on Michigan State because like that was special. Like that was special even against air. Like that's tough to do. And I understand that Michigan State's defense is only slightly better than air, but they are slightly better than air. Like it was impressive what they did to just a woeful Michigan State pass defense. I mean, that's absolutely awful. Michigan, the key to that is coming and taking the air out of the ball early. Win the toss. Like, please, like, don't defer to the second half. I understand what the analytics say, get the ball at halftime. Don't do it. Take the ball, take the ball and slow it down. Like you have to slow it down. Don't let it become they have racehorses over there. Don't let it become a track meet. You keep this thing slow. You run the ball effectively. You take shots. You try to score points. Michigan throws the ball well. They really do. That's kind of an underestimated part of their game. But the line. So the line. Let's get to the line here. What's what we care about. That's tough. I don't know. I was expecting this to be 2 scores. I really was. I think I said 16 and a half maybe is where I just thought, just to guess, and it's at 8. I have 8. I don't know what you have. 8 points.
I got 7.5 to 8.5. If you want to take Michigan, I get you plus 8.5 for Michigan.
That will be one of my locks of the week.
All right.
I still feel good about it. 8.5. I'll take Michigan. I don't, man. Wow. Ohio State's good though. Like, man, that was so cool. Like what they did, like everything that Ohio State did is like, I wish Georgia could be that way. Like I would just love for Georgia to be that way. Just like, you don't have to be that way all the time. Just like a couple games a year, just like come out and sling it. We'll never be that way, but we never will. We can't have nice things like that. Yeah, still gonna take Michigan. Lock of the week. You're on Ohio State, right? Aren't you on Ohio State? Yeah.
This is one of my locks of the week.
Lock fight.
Lock fight. Only our second one of the year.
Number 2.
You won the first one, so I'm hoping to even the score here. Although, let's be honest, if Michigan wins, I will be thrilled.
Even when you lose, you still win, right?
Yes, yeah. The worst thing that could happen here is Ohio State winning, but not covering.
Hey, yeah. No, you're right. That is valid. I think Michigan with Aiden Hutchinson, I think they get after the passer. That's kind of my whole thing. Like, I think if he just has a clean pocket, if Stroud is, because he's sat back there and had all day. He literally had all day to throw and just diced him apart. He didn't get hit. He wasn't rushed. He wasn't hurried, and that matters, especially to young quarterbacks. This is going to be an extremely hostile crowd. Like, it's going to be bonkers. And like, I think the pass rush gets after him. I do. I think that Ohio State's offensive line is not terrific. I don't think their tackles are terrific. They've been gotten after a little bit. Like, Oregon had good pass rush against them, and that was without Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, they didn't have Kayvon Thibodeau in that game when Oregon beat him. So I think you're going to have an elite pass rusher coming off the edge. I think that hurries them up a little bit. I think they'll still score probably 28 to 35 points, somewhere in there. I think Michigan can too, though. Like, I think they can too. I think this game is close. I like Michigan in a close one outright.
Nice. I respect the boldness.
Yeah.
And 364 days a year, I hate Michigan. This Saturday, I will be rooting for you to be right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Screw Ohio State. Screw
That's them. Right. That's an official podcast
motto.
Stance.
Yeah.
All right. Wake Forest is at Boston College. Wake Forest a 4 to 5 point favorite. Boston College last week getting Phil Dracovic back, which makes things a little more interesting. And Wake Forest just kind of got throttled by Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
This is big for Wake Forest. They need this win. If they win this game, they win their division. They can play for the ACC title. They still have
That's right.
They still have a huge season in front of them here.
They do. It's true.
Do you think last week was a bad sign? Like, I guess I'll just ask you, like, do you think Boston College gets him here?
Wake Forest has shown some cracks, shall we say. Like, they got beat up by Clemson. That game wasn't close. I actually considered, taking Wake as one of my locks last week. I luckily got out of it. But yeah, like that was clearly just the wrong side. Clemson was clearly better. Wake looks maybe a little bit kind of what's happening with Michigan State a little bit. They've come this far, and like they were still like they were a top 10 team, and just to get beat up like that it's a sign that maybe Boston College, who we think is solid, right? Maybe Boston College does the same thing. It does make me think that.
Yeah, that defense for Wake is just not very good. And hell, we mentioned Phil Dracovic. He's been really good this year when healthy. Yeah, I don't know what the over under is on this game, but that might be the play. If the over might be the play if you want to take something on this game, because I do think both of these offenses are going to put up points in this game.
Sure.
I don't really have a good feel for who will actually win, but it is interesting because Wake Forest they could have their best season ever right here.
Right.
So
Right.
okay, the Iron Bowl. We're getting to the afternoon. Alabama is at Auburn. Alabama 19.5 to 20-point favorite. Didn't exactly dominate Arkansas the way many expected last week. Only won by one score there. Now they're at Auburn. They had the last time they played the last two times. I'm sorry, they played at Auburn. They lost outright. Auburn is without Bo Nix, but I guess there's a decent question about how much of Auburn's success is because of Bo Nix or in spite of Bo Nix. That's been a constant question for 3 years now.
I think the game that people maybe are going to look back on is 2 years ago, right? When at Auburn, Bo Nix played just out of his skull, and they beat a really good Alabama team who had Mac. I mean, Tua was hurt, but like Mac Jones, who is lighting the NFL on fire and college football last year on fire, and that was his first start, I believe. I believe that was his first start ever. So, like, yeah, like Bo Nix was incredible. Home Bo Nix is incredible. Like he's obviously not going to be playing this game. It's going to be TJ Finley.
Yes.
And that's a downgrade. Like that's a downgrade because Bo Nix, for all of his shortcomings, he is the ultimate dice roll. Like you might come out and it might just be special. Like he might be special. He's normally not going to be, and he's usually going to make it's going to be a little interesting. But like he is special, and or at least has the potential to be special, right?
The ceiling is high.
Very high, massively high ceiling for Bo Nix. And yeah, without him, I don't see how TJ Finley keeps Auburn in the game. I don't. And I would actually have been very excited, even with Auburn unranked, had Bo Nix been starting in this game. I think it would have been interesting. It would have been close. Whereas now, I really don't see it.
Yeah. Okay. Penn State is at Michigan State. Michigan State coming off with just the slaughtering at the hands of Ohio State. This is a pick 'em in most places. You can also get Penn State at -1 or +1. Either team. I mean, whatever. This is interesting, not because of any stakes, but because James Franklin, of course, is on every short list for every head coaching job in America. And I don't know, is that a distraction? Is that a motivation for them? There's different ways of looking at this because I do think Penn State has faltered enough down the stretch. Like I wonder if maybe that hurts Franklin when it comes to the USC job or the LSU job, whatever. Like
yeah.
And so maybe he's more motivated this week than normal, or maybe it's just a big distraction. I don't know. What do you think?
They are playing Michigan State, who is coming off of the biggest game that they've ever played in the last 5 years, and they just got absolutely the game was over in the first 3 minutes.
Big letdown potential here for Michigan
State. Huge. And yeah, another one just kind of staying away from. Like, just don't. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what team will show up? Because I think, if this game was just played in the vacuum, I think Michigan State probably wins. But it's not, and it's very emotional. Who knows how Michigan State responds? And frankly, who knows how Penn State's going to respond? Yeah, having your coach pretty much have one foot out the door already. Who's kind of like Lane Kiffin, flirts with literally every school that comes along, and it's going to be he's going to get paid whether he stays or goes. He's going to get paid one way or another probably. So, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of stay away from it. I think the line is interesting. Like even Vegas is we'll put that at pick 'em. We don't really know what's going on here. You can have either side. Yeah.
So this is just for fun. I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire on this or anything, but just finish this sentence for me. 1 month from now, James Franklin will be the head coach at
USC.
It's very possible. I think that's probably how I would finish the sentence too.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I'm hoping he stays at Penn State because I think if he leaves Penn State, the natural replacement for him at Penn State is Luke Fickell. And I think the natural replacement for Luke Fickell at Cincinnati would be Marcus Freeman.
Oh, yeah, I bet you don't like that. That's true.
No, I don't like that.
I didn't think about that.
In the month of November, Notre Dame has not allowed a touchdown.
So hey, it has worked out. The hire has worked out, hadn't it?
Yes.
Like you struggled. Remember when we I think it was week 1 against Florida State. We were criticizing Notre Dame for like giving up a lot of points to Florida State, and like, wow, you pulled it together. And by the way, like not to toot my own horn, but I was like just give it some time.
Sure.
Just give it a little bit of time,
Yeah.
and because it did. It looked not great for a while, and this is without Kyle Hamilton too.
Yes.
Like Hamilton has been like on the sideline because he's hurt. So hey, that's incredible. That's really cool. We always thought he was a good coach too. Like we thought that was like one of the hires of the offseason, was getting Marcus Freeman. I don't think he'll take the Cincinnati job. Like I don't think that, and I don't think Fickle's gonna leave. Who knows?
See, I don't think he'll leave. From everything I hear, I don't think he will leave for like a Southern job or because he's a Midwest guy.
He is,
But I think the jobs he would take to leave Cincinnati are Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, or Penn State. I think those are the 4 places that could pull him away from Cincinnati.
You don't
Penn
think
State?
Bill
Penn
O'Brien
State is
goes back to Penn
probably
State?
probably not.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun. I think Penn State is probably closer to 50-50. I do think Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, like he would absolutely take those jobs if you're Luke Fickle.
Yeah.
Penn State is maybe a little more borderline, but I lean he would go.
Right.
Just my personal thought.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's one reason to keep an eye on this game. So personally, I'm rooting for Michigan State. I want James Franklin to have as bad of a resume as possible.
Nice.
Purely selfish motivation.
That's okay. That is okay.
All right. Oregon State is at Oregon. We had mentioned this would be a tough matchup for Oregon. They already lost their game, so the Pac-12 is out of the playoff.
Yeah.
One reason I mentioned this, it's kind of the same thing. Mario Cristobal. This is going to be one of the hot names, I think, especially for Florida, even USC.
Yeah.
Like this guy has to be on your short list, I think, despite what we just saw a week ago. I guess this game itself is not that interesting to me, but
Not
Mario
really.
Cristobal is interesting to me.
Yeah.
You think he stays at Oregon?
No, I don't. I think he's trying to go somewhere.
Okay.
I think he's sneaky the LSU coach next year, possibly.
Interesting.
Sneaky. I really do. I think he'd be okay with that. I think it's been rumored Billy Napier, who we thought possibly would be the LSU guy just because he's so close.
Yeah.
We thought that for 2 months now. He is meeting with Florida right now.
Yes.
So Billy Napier, it looks like he's Florida's number 1 guy, and I think Florida makes him an offer he can't refuse. I do. I think Florida goes after him and gets him, which I think. Okay, Cristobal wants out of Oregon, I believe. I think that leaves, because we already said that, pretty sure we at least feel confident like of who USC will be going after. I think Cristobal would then be taking the other big job, and that would be the LSU job, which by the way would leave Lane Kiffin out in the cold a little bit, which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like maybe it could be Kiffin at LSU. Like it could be. I don't feel that they would jive. Like I don't feel that Kiffin and LSU would just get along.
If you're LSU, wouldn't Mario Cristobal make more sense?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, like that's probably why. I guess this is my official predictions as to who's going to all.
It sounds
all
like
these
you're
jobs.
going there, yeah.
It does sound like it.
it.
Yeah. I guess it is. So yes, my official prediction is that Kiffin stays, or at least does not go to one of the big 3. We have the big 3 that are available. But I think one thing that could be interesting is other people that get hired away and other positions that get opened.
True. Yeah.
Which like who takes the Oregon job? Like who takes some of these like the Penn State job? Who takes these jobs if other guys leave? You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't Lane Kiffin at Oregon kind of make sense?
It does. But like, I know they don't want to hear like the is it Moorhead? He's the OC right now at Oregon, head coaching experience. Yeah. I don't think that's who. I think Oregon wants someone a little flashier, which is why Kiffin makes sense. Which is kind of why you kind of just put that caveat in there that Kiffin probably doesn't have one of the big 3 as we see
Joe
it now.
Moorhead to Ole Miss a couple years after being fired from Mississippi State.
Ole Miss would be swinging. Ole Miss has elevated themselves as a program. I think they would be swinging for the bleachers if the Ole Miss job comes available. They are going for a home run hire. Like they have shown us that they want big, they want flashy, they want results, and it has worked for them too. By the way, like Kiffin to Ole Miss has been a success. Like that move has been a success, even though it was criticized a bit. That's worked. You can go down that whole rabbit hole because from here it goes 1,000 different directions. If say Oregon opens up, and then who goes to Oregon? If Kiffin goes to Oregon, then who takes Ole Miss, and who do they replace with that? So. I don't know. I guess my official prediction is Cristobal to LSU, Franklin to USC, and Napier to Florida. We'll see. We'll see what average I come out with.
Props to you on the Billy Napier stuff. I was actually going to bring that up on this pod as well. I've been hearing that apparently a bunch of the Florida staffers and even some players are following him all of a sudden on Twitter, which is interesting. And by the way, props to Billy Napier. Last offseason, he turned down the South Carolina and Auburn jobs. This is a guy at Louisiana, a Group of 5 school. Turned down 2 SEC jobs, Auburn and South Carolina.
Yeah.
And now he's ending up. It looks like he's going to end up with an even better job, clearly in Florida.
Right.
So he played the game the right way.
He did.
He's the guy who waited for the job that is like the slam dunk. Good for him. And I think it's probably a really good hire by Florida. If that's where they go, this is nothing confirmed. This is speculation based on, bits and pieces of information. But if that's where they go, does that not make that seems like a pretty good hire in my opinion?
Yeah, no, I would say I think the only drawback is that he is so young and because he's not an old guy. Like he's still pretty young and he hasn't he doesn't have Power 5 experience. Like it is a little scary to be learning how to be a Power 5 guy at Florida, which is a big time job. Like Florida is probably the best job he will ever have in his life. Like he probably won't ever get a bigger job. And are you ready for that yet? So I don't know. We'll see. I think that's who they're going with. I think he has a ton of potential, but can he recruit? Like Florida right now is bereft of talent because Mullen hasn't recruited for 4 years, right? They have no players really. After this class kind of leaves and moves on, the last of the McElwain players, Florida is kind of bare. We're seeing that. There's no more Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Tonys just laying around anymore. And you haven't restocked the cupboard really. I guess you do have Richardson possibly if he stays. But you have to come in and recruit. That's what you have to have. That's what Florida has to have is someone who can come in and get back to at least a top 10 class. You almost have to be top 10. You should be top 5. That's what Florida needs to look for.
So there was also some talk of Cristobal to Florida. I think he's a Florida native, if I heard that right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that would actually make more sense for them because you need that recruiting and it would be nice because of where Florida is just as a program. It does seem like it would be kind of nice to have a coach with Power 5 experience.
That's where I would have went because Cristobal has done an incredible. He's recruited well at Oregon. He has. Yeah. He's gotten in a lot of really good players. You see it Thibodeau is just one of them. They have Sewell, the linebacker, Justin Flo, another linebacker. They brought in big name guys that everybody wanted. That they recruited against the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, and got these guys. And that's something that maybe he has and is ready made. And like you said, he's been under Saban at Alabama. He knows the lay of the land in the SEC. I said, possibly from Florida. I think he's a Florida native. So he's familiar with the area and can recruit. And for me, that's probably, I would have yes, he would have been my first choice. I think it's Napier is maybe, maybe because he's younger, I guess, is maybe why we're looking at that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you though. I probably would have trended toward Cristobal.
Cristobal was born in Miami, by the way. I did confirm that.
Okay.
Okay, so here's one. You may wonder why I'm mentioning this game. Virginia Tech is at Virginia. Virginia is no longer in contention for the division. Neither is Virginia Tech. Virginia is a 7.5-point favorite here. Virginia Tech has the job opening. We know that. But we're talking about all these job openings. Do you think there's any chance Bronco Mendenhall could go somewhere? Because he's at Virginia, which is not exactly a huge program.
Right.
Like he's a good enough coach. It feels like he could be at a better program. Not?
Like, you're not saying Virginia Tech, are you?
I'm not, just because that would be a really weird move.
Right. Right.
But if you are, let's say you're an Oregon or an Ole Miss and you just lost your coach,
Right.
you could do a whole lot worse than Bronco Mendenhall.
Penn State. What about Penn State?
Or Penn State. Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Washington's something we don't talk about. What about Kiffin to Washington? Could he do that?
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
I don't think he would. I don't think that would be a big enough pull from Ole Miss. He's at Ole Miss. Yeah. Even Oregon, you could argue, is not that much of a better job. I do think it is better than Ole Miss, for sure. Washington, I don't know about that. Like, just based on the money and the resources and the talent available in your area.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
It wasn't something I necessarily thought of until I was going through the schedule and I saw Virginia sitting there and I was like, oh, they have a good coach.
I will say it's a great time to be a coach that is viewed as like someone with potential, like someone that's overperformed. Like even Fickle, if he was to ever move, this is the year for Fickle to do it. If he doesn't do it this year after possibly an undefeated, possibly a playoff berth, the first ever for a Group of 5 team, and yeah, like all-time highs in an all-time hot coaching market, like it couldn't be any hotter. There's so many big jobs available. If he doesn't go this year, you might as well never go. Like, you know what I mean? So I think, well, he said that, I'm never going to leave. That's what he told us. I'm never going to leave. I'm never going anywhere. We'll see. It'll get tested. I will say, with Ohio State's probably his dream job because he was like the coach there just for like a little bit right after Tressel, I believe, right? Wasn't he?
He was an assistant there, and I think he also played there.
Yeah. Yes. So Ohio State probably the dream job for him. So maybe that's the only reason Fickle wouldn't leave is he's just waiting for that one to come available. But that's not going to come available anytime soon. So
the only way is if like Ryan Day would go to the NFL,
which he's talked about, by the way. He likes the NFL. Like he won't. He's too successful there right now. Like I mean it though. Like he's too successful there right now, and he does like the NFL. I will say, like Ryan Day really enjoys the NFL. But I couldn't see him moving just because he's recruited so well. Like that's kind of the main drawback to NFL coaches is like they don't want to recruit. Like that's why, they don't really want to recruit. But he's excelling at it. Like why? Unless he just hates it. But I doubt he does.
I do think if Fickle, let's assume James Franklin leaves Penn State. If Fickle does not take the Penn State job, I think his next job will be either Notre Dame, Ohio State, or Michigan, whichever one opens first, probably.
Yeah.
Or offers him a job first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, just keep on going here. Wisconsin is at Minnesota. Wisconsin, if they win this game, they win their division, and they will play the winner of Ohio State and Michigan in the Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
If they lose, like there's scenarios where 4 teams could tie in the Big Ten West. It's a lot. It's very complicated. If you're interested, Google it yourself. But
we're not going to get into it.
The main thing is Wisconsin, who's a 6.5 to 7 point favorite. If they win this game, they win the division. So that's the most clear cut thing possible.
Sure.
I do think it's probably going to happen. Wisconsin playing a lot better than they were earlier.
They are. This is true. This is true.
Okay, another game that has like basically no stakes, but is always fun. Texas A&M is at LSU and is a 6.5 to 7 point favorite.
Yeah.
And it's a little interesting because there was that Jimbo Fisher to LSU rumor.
Oh yeah.
He pretty definitively shot it down.
Did he though? Did he? Like
he kind of did.
He kind of did. It took him like freaking 5 minutes. You can listen to the whole interview, and he's like, we're done, nah. And then, no, I don't think so.
He brought up the thing that he would be stupid to be recruiting all these players to Texas A&M and then leave and go to a division rival and have to face them.
Well, I mean, he did that at Florida. Granted, that wasn't a division rival that he left for, but like he recruited his tail off at Florida and then left, or Florida State, and then left.
Florida State, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like we'll just say he's done this before. Is LSU a better job than A&M? Is LSU a better job?
Yes, I think so, because
yeah,
they're the only Power 5 team in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Their last 3 jobs, their last 3 coaches
have won titles.
And 2 of those were Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. Like, the ceiling is ridiculous at LSU. I really think so.
I mean, the other one was Nick Saban too. Like,
yeah, you mentioned in our last episode you think Florida is a better job than LSU and USC.
Ooh, yes, I do.
And I'm really looking forward to an off. We are going to this off season in an episode like rank all these jobs. And I don't even know like where I'm going to stand on all of these, but I know it's going to be very interesting.
Right.
Yes.
I'm actually really looking forward to the off-season podcast that we have. We're going to do like an announcer, like we're going to like rank our college football announcers like from best to worst. There are some awful ones out there, just like absolutely awful announcers out there. And like that's going to be so much fun. Like I really can't wait for that.
We definitely have some good ideas, and I don't want to ruin them all, but there's a few of them for everybody out there listening.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. Clemson is at South Carolina. Clemson, an 11 to 11.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
I believe South Carolina did they just clinch bowl eligibility last week?
They did. They're 6-5 right now.
Yeah. So like it's already decided that they've had a great season for Shane Beamer in his first year there.
Yeah.
Clemson, I'm assuming, will be ranked in the playoff rankings. They're the first team that's not ranked in the AP this week. So I guess props to them for getting better this year and not completely tanking. I mean, like we mentioned it before, compare them to Florida. 2 teams with somewhat similar goals at the beginning of the year, and it's going completely different directions.
It's true.
Is there any chance South Carolina wins here, or you think Clemson's just in their head at this point?
I think it stays close. Like I think South Carolina is like just at an all-time high. Like some of these players have never been good. You know, they've never been on a good team, and like they're good. Like they're competitive. They're gonna fight. Like they really will. Like I don't think DJ is gonna just dice apart a pretty good defense. Like South Carolina's defense is pretty solid. And I think Clemson got fat just because they got to play Wake Forest, and Wake Forest gives up 40 to everybody. Like it made like, oh, Clemson's offense is back, or maybe it was just Wake Forest. Like, you know what I mean? So like I think this will be another really good offense or a really good defense that they'll be going up against. So if they put up 35, if Clemson puts up 35 or 40 on South Carolina, I'm willing to say that Clemson's offense is back. But I kind of doubt that they'll put up 40. Just really don't think they're going to put up 40. I think it stays close. I do.
They might only need 14 to win this game.
It's true. It is true.
But you're right as far as just the general perception of their team going forward.
That's right.
There's a difference between them winning this game 14-10 and winning this game 40-10. For sure.
A big one.
Okay, another game, another rivalry that doesn't have a lot of stakes, but I kind of mention it just because of the coaches. Kentucky is at Louisville. Sorry.
Lowell.
There was a little bit of talk about Mark Stoops to Florida.
There was. Yeah.
Don't know that that's going to happen, but I do think it wouldn't be a terrible hire by them. And there's a chance that he would be an option at some other jobs as well. Scott Satterfield has maybe underperformed a bit, but I mean, they're going bowling, and they're actually favored here against Kentucky by 2.5, which would put them at 7-5 on the year, I believe, which would be a solid season.
It would be.
So, like, if they did pull that off, maybe Scott Satterfield's name comes up for Ole Miss or whatever.
Please.
Probably not.
Spare me with that.
I'm not
a
all of these guy. I'm just going to say, though, with all of these jobs that are open and will open up, not everybody is going to get one of their top 3 options.
Then go for a coordinator. You don't have to go for the home run head coach hire. You don't go for a big coordinator. Like Dan Lanning at Georgia, there is no way that he should be at Georgia at the defensive coordinator spot next year. Like with this many good jobs open, he should absolutely not be there. Someone should take a chance on him and like just go pay him. Go pay him 3 times what he's making right now and make him your head coach because it's working. Like he wins games. He does. The Ohio State offensive coordinator, I don't even know his name. He should not be there. Like, don't let him be there. Pay him enough money and like buy him. buy him away. Get some of the coordinators that have done really well and make them leave. Like Freeman, another one. I know you don't like this mentioning Marcus Freeman. Shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there next year. One of these schools, Virginia Tech, should go get him. Like I know TCU already has their guy, but like there's going to be a lot of other like down ballot jobs. Washington should go get someone like that. Like there's a lot of good jobs that are going to be open that aren't going to get their home run hires.
Yeah.
And should go take a chance on some of these really good coordinators because like that's where the next generation of coaches is going to come from. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman was an offensive line coach. He wasn't even a coordinator. He was an offensive line coach that went to Arkansas, and he's going to be probably the SEC Coach of the Year and has completely turned around that program. So, like, you don't have to have head coaching experience to make a good head coach at another job. Go get the best guy for it, even if he's a coordinator.
Yeah. I really hope that nobody comes after Marcus Freeman. But if I was an AD at any of these schools other than maybe USC, LSU, and Florida, like any other job, like he is, like I would be knocking down his door. And I don't know if he would take any of those jobs.
Right.
But, I mean, even if he went to a USC, as a Notre Dame fan, I would suddenly be terrified of them because they're going to recruit their butt off. Like, with that guy, he's so good. Yeah. I really wonder, and I know that even last offseason after he just got hired and hadn't coached a single game for Notre Dame, there was talk about head coach in waiting. Like this offseason, like right after the Georgia Tech game, when everyone else is still worried about conference championships, would be a wonderful time for Notre Dame to say, hey, would you like to make $2.5 million a year and be the head coach in waiting? But, yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Okay, the big game of the evening.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is at Oklahoma State.
Right.
Oklahoma State is actually a 3.5 to 4 point favorite here.
As they should be.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. However, Oklahoma has dominated this rivalry.
Yeah.
Basically, the way Ohio State has dominated Michigan, the way Clemson has dominated South Carolina. Do you believe that this is the year where Oklahoma State finally puts it together? Because like everything about this matchup tells me the way Oklahoma's offense has been playing, the way Oklahoma State's defense has been playing, everything about this tells me that Oklahoma State should probably win this game, which is what Vegas is saying. But then I look at the names on the jerseys.
There's too many 5 stars for Oklahoma, right?
And it's like Bud Elliott likes to say,
yeah,
you know, anything can happen in Bedlam. Oklahoma can win by a lot or can win by a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know. What's your thought on this?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I've never been a big believer in Oklahoma State. Like, I guess maybe it's just shocking that like Oklahoma State is known for their defense because they are. Like that's what's gotten them there is they're just stellar defense. It's like really like Gundy has like okay like that's surprising. Didn't see that coming. And then like Oklahoma has like just not good quarterback play, which is like another thing. It's like what? Wait, what? Like Caleb Williams was kind of good. Now like then he struggled. Like Rattler has struggled like pretty much the whole year whenever he's played. And then like yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like this game doesn't make sense to me. And which is why I'm not like I just have no feel for it at all. Like I like to bet games where at least I think I have a feel for it. And I have no idea what's going to happen here. Probably Oklahoma will win by a little bit or win by a lot, I would say. But like I really don't know. I have no idea. So yeah, just like it'll be fun to watch. You got to watch it though. Got to watch it.
Yeah, there have been rumblings about Lincoln Riley taking another job. But again, Oklahoma is going to the SEC. Like it almost feels like it would be dumb for him.
Right.
He has such a good thing established there. They're recruiting very well.
Yep.
The class of 23, they already have like 3 or 4 5 stars committed. It's ridiculous what they're doing.
Yep.
So
it's true.
Yeah. Okay, the last game to mention is just it's not like a top tier game or anything, but Notre Dame is at Stanford as a 19-point favorite. The main reason I mention it is because this is Notre Dame's last game. They don't have they're obviously not in a conference. It's their last chance to impress the committee. Yeah, I don't know. Stanford had Tanner McKee play last week and they still got destroyed. It feels like, I mean, I do think David Shaw has built up a lot of cachet there, but I do wonder if maybe there won't be some pressure on him to make some changes to some of his assistants this offseason.
He'd better.
Do you think does it make any difference to you what Notre Dame does in this game? Like if you're comparing them to say theoretically one loss Oklahoma or one loss Oklahoma State, does it make any difference to you if Notre Dame wins this game by 10 or 40?
No, this year all that has mattered to me. So there's been so many close games. Like other than Georgia, everyone's played close games. Ohio State, who's probably the number 2 team in the nation, we'll probably find that out tomorrow night, has played close games. Like they were in a dogfight numerous times. Like Nebraska was one of them. Like and they could have lost multiple games this year and didn't. Like, and that's Ohio State. Like, that's the team that we think is far and away the best. You know, like Cincinnati has flirted with losses literally almost every week until last week. Yeah, and most of these teams have losses. Like even Alabama, like not impressive. Win the game. This year, all that matters is winning the game because everyone plays close games. No one outside of Georgia is just blowing everyone's doors off. Like no one is. So just win. Like kind of the same thing that we say with Cincinnati. Just keep winning. I don't care if it's by 1 or 100. Just find a way to get another W in the win column because you know there's some other teams that aren't doing that, and that's what's going to put you ahead of them at the end.
Sure. Okay, that's all our games. That was a lot of games.
It was.
Did we miss any that you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
I'm good.
What are your 5 to watch?
Oh boy. All right. Okay. So obviously we're going to go with the big one. It's going to be Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes.
Number 2 is going to be Oklahoma State. I'm sure you're agreeing on these so far. I want to watch the Egg Bowl. I think that's must-watch television. It's going to be Mississippi State. Number 3 for me. And then it starts to get tough. So I have 3, and then it's like, I really want to watch Florida State, and I really want to watch South Carolina and Clemson. Like, those are the ones that I want to watch. Like, I know those teams aren't that great, and like we're maybe leaving out like some good games. You could say that. Yeah, UNC, NC State's, pretty good game. Texas Tech, Baylor, pretty good game. But no, I want to watch Florida State. I want to watch Clemson, South Carolina. That's what I want to see. Yeah.
I am with you on the first 4. I also went Florida State as one of mine.
Nice.
Just because, there's it's 2 teams that are nowhere close to great, but they're both 5 and 6, and there's just a lot of interesting dynamics going on there.
It's true.
Yeah. And then my 5th one is the Iron Bowl. I have Alabama at Auburn. Okay. Don't expect it to be that competitive, but it is the Iron Bowl, and weird things happen in the Iron Bowl sometimes. So, yeah, I'll go with that one as my 5th one. No problem with your Clemson, South Carolina pick. And as a Notre Dame fan, of course, I'll be watching their game too. But
sure.
As I'm sure you will be watching Georgia.
A little bit.
Okay, now for the locks. We've already mentioned that we have a lock fight.
We do, yes.
And now here's the thing. You have Michigan plus 8.5.
No, we can do it to where we both win.
Yes,
we can do that.
I have Ohio State minus 7.5.
Let's do it. That's fine.
So if Ohio State wins by 8, we both win.
But then we actually all lose because Ohio State's then in the playoff.
Well, that's true.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Then we're all
get
losers.
You. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yep.
What is your second lock?
Okay. This is a tough one for me. This one's very tough. I am conflicted. I like Mississippi State to cover 1. I understand.
Okay.
I like that. But hang on. I also like Florida State. Like they're getting 2.5.
Yes.
I like them to cover that too. And as you waffle back and forth, for you it's easy. I think Alabama is going to blitz Auburn. That better be your other lock.
It's not.
It's not. Oh, if that would have been one of my 5 to watch, I think Alabama will absolutely shellac Auburn. I think without Bo Nix, they have no prayer. Okay, I got to make a decision, don't I? This pod has gone on long enough. I am going Florida State plus 2.5. Lock it in.
Yes. Okay. So this is where it gets interesting because I'm down to 2 options for my last one.
Okay.
I don't hate your Alabama pick, but it's just a lot of points and it's the Iron Bowl, so I'm staying away from it. I also have Florida State plus 2.5 as one of my options here. And my other one is Oklahoma plus 4.
And I don't hate that either. Yeah. I thought about that as well.
And so we have 1 lock fight.
Well, we can't have 2. You're on the Florida State side, right?
Right, but I'm saying, should we have a lock agreement as well? Man. So you went with Florida State.
Yeah.
Well, for all of you listening, I mean, yeah, Florida State is one. I also feel good about Oklahoma. Go ahead and put all your money on that. Like, don't
Okay.
blame me when you lose it, but give me all the credit when you win it. Oh, sorry. This is just this on air debating thing is bad, but just to be different, I'm gonna go Oklahoma +4.
Okay.
That way we're not the same.
Okay.
We
Cool.
have and then we'll have multiple locks out there. We could middle our Ohio State Michigan fight. You have Florida State, which I agree with, and I'll go with Oklahoma +4 as my other lock of the week.
Good deal.
Man, there it is. The last week of the regular season.
Well, hey, we still have more pods to do.
Oh, yeah.
This year we're just getting started. Good. This is when it gets fun. Like this
That's
year is
right.
when it gets good. We have championship week next week.
Yes.
It's gonna be just please enjoy this week. So many people get so caught up, and I have people texting me like I'm a Georgia fan, right? And like this has been just a magical year for us, and everyone's like, well, I can't wait to get to the end of the year. I just want to get to the end of the year. I'm just so ready to like no.
Enjoy it.
Love this.
Yes.
I have been a Georgia fan for like the lean years, the early, like 2010, 2011, 2012. And is like, I remember like we started Joe Cox as quarterback one year, bug-eyed Joe Cox. Like he didn't see, Hudson Mason was a starting quarterback for us for a while. Like I remember getting blown out sometimes. We lost to UCF in a bowl game, like one of Aaron Murray's first years. My point is, enjoy this. This is going to be our we're beating Georgia Tech. I'm going to call that. This is going to be our first 12-0 season since, long before I was born. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it all. This is going to be the last regular season week you're going to get until next late August or early September, one or the other. Enjoy it.
You were talking to Georgia fans. I'll just talk to college football fans in general. Before you know it, it's going to be mid-April. March Madness will be over. The only thing on is baseball. Well, I guess there will be NBA playoffs through June. But
No one cares.
you will be wanting some college football so bad, and you won't be able to for months yet. So just enjoy it while you have it.
DVR these games and watch them then. DVR these games and watch
Exactly.
them. Yep.
Yeah. Watch the Wisconsin at Minnesota game that you won't have time for this Saturday. Just
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Man. All right. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Hope you have a great week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And God bless you all.